The traveler fled the witness across 7 galaxies before crashing in Sol. Its gift of light was not salvation, but concealment. In the tower's archives, Cryptarchs guard records etched with a darker truth. Light's origin is a wound in reality, a scar from the traveler's ancient flight. Their hands hover over a tablet glowing with the traveler's sigil. The shadow in the corner knows. But never meant to be concealment saved. It was Cryptarch's guard buried records etched with a darker truth. What if the tower's greatest secret is that it was never a sanctuary, but a prison for light's origin? Cryptarchs move in shadowed halls where sigils pulse like dying stars, their robes brushing dust older than the Golden Age. The traveler's wound festers beneath their feet, a hollow hum, a hunger. They do not archive history. They cage a weapon light cannot control. The tower's spires are anchors. Every book bound in ghost-etched vellum whispers the same truth. Light's power is a blade that carves through faith. The traveler fears what it birthed. Guardians train above, blind to the weight they stand upon. What if the Golden Age is a delay? The Warden of Light sleeps in the archives. The tower bleeds when it stirs. The first light predates the traveler's flight. A force unshaped by mercy or malice, it fractured the cosmos before the witness's shadow stretched across stars. When the traveler fled not from darkness, but truth, it dragged its scars to Sol. The tower was raised to cage what it carried, a memory too vast to bear. Archives are not records, they are a tomb. Every glyph etched by Cryptarchs buries another layer of the first light's designa paradigm that reshaped gods. The traveler's flight was not escape, but exile. It brought no salvation to Sol, only delay, what stirs beneath the tower's silence. Not light's dawn, but its reckoning. The witness's arrival was no accident. Its gaze seeks what the traveler hides, the blueprint of a war fought before time, where light and its opposite collided. The tower bleeds when the warden stirs. Cryptarchs know the archives are not sanctuary, but a seal. Light does not choose, it is. And the tower's greatest crime is not forgetting but waiting. The tower's spires do not reach for heaven, they pierce a tomb. The Cryptarchs guard no library. They chain a memory the traveler cannot unmake. Every glyph they transcribe is a shackle. Every chronicle a dirge for a god that bled light into soil. The light was never given, it was spilled. A wound opened in the void to contain what the traveler could not, its own hunger. The archivists know. Their creed is not preservation, but erasure. They smudge the edges of understanding, lest humanity glimpse the horror beneath the gift, a weapon that grows brighter as it bleeds. What does the tower fear most? Not darkness, clarity. The traveler does not bestow, it buries. Its protection is a vault, and the Cryptarchs are its unspoken wardens. To serve the light is to starve it. To study it is to dull its edge. The tower's shelves are not wisdom, they are a sarcophagus. And every ghost who whispers hope is a liar in a language the dead cannot speak. The traveler's will is not salvation. It is silence. The Cryptarchs do not choose their path. It was etched into them when the light first fell into the ground, where it still burns. The outer keepers wear iron masks to block the scent of decay. Their hands bind tomes in salted vellum, their boots echo in tunnels where dust holds the shape of forgotten prayers. They guard the tower's lower vault cells of lead and bone, where the traveler's earliest gifts rot. Above them, the inner keepers dissect scrolls that burn the tongue, their chambers lit by blue flames that never gutter. They memorize, then shatter each glyph that hints at the light's first fall. At the summit dwell the silent, no robes, no titles. They move like shadows between the tower's living walls, carving voids where knowledge might unravel the traveler's design. Their tools are ash and silence. The tower's spire is a pyramid of lies. Each tier narrows, each step upward removes a sense of first smell, then sound, finally sight. At the peak lies the pale heart, a hollow where the light's original spark was buried, not preserved, buried. Even the silent halt at its threshold, the air there hums with a frequency that unmake flesh. The Cryptarchs do not question. They are the traveler's scribes, its janitors of truth, yet the ghosts they summon from dead guardians carry a paradox. These spirits, born of light, remember nothing of the traveler's fall, only that they must raise the dead. Only that the tower is sacred. What if the tower's archives are not records but restraints? What if every scroll the inner keepers destroy is a thread in a net, woven to cage the light's first sin? The Cryptarchs serve order, but order is a prison. The Traveler gave them purpose to forget, to guard, to erase. The ghosts obey, unaware they are both jailers and prisoners. The tower stands not as a library, but as a tomb. And the Pale Heart, it is the key the Traveler cannot afford to lose. But the signature moment of this species is still ahead. Cryptarchs files whisper of a first light older than the Traveler's borrowed radiance. What if the tower's stone walls do not imprison light but contain its forgotten antithesis? A truth so ancient, even the Pale Heart trembles to remember. The moment came during the collapse. The Traveler shed its own essence to wound the witness. In doing so, it left a scar across the light, itself a fracture that pulsed with unspoken dread. The Cryptarchs were born from this wound. Their task to seal the breach, to bury the truth that the light is not a gift but a cage. The tower's archives do not preserve history, they entomb the origin of the light. What did the Cryptarchs witness that day? A being of cosmic will, not as savior but as prisoner. The Traveler's sacrifice was not an act of benevolence. It was a desperate gambit to delay the witness, to hide its own existence from the Pale Heart's reckoning. The tower stands as a monument to this lie. Its stone halls whisper of a power too dangerous to wield, a power the Traveler feared would be turned against itself. The light's fracture remains, the Cryptarchs guard it still. They know the tower is no sanctuary, it is a vault. A tomb for the Traveler's soul, locked away to prevent the witness from finishing what it began. Every glyph they transcribe, every relic they catalog is a chain. The archives are not records, they are a prison's ledger. The Pale Heart will rise. The final battle will not be against the witness alone. It will be against the truth the Cryptarchs have buried, for the light's wound is also a doorway. And the tower's keepers, what are they but wardens of their own undoing? The Traveler's voice is silent, its message is etched in stone. The light is not salvation, it is a wound that will not heal, a paradox that cannot be unmade. The Cryptarchs know this. They have always known their duty is not to protect humanity, it is to ensure the light's prison remains unbroken. Until the Pale Heart's gaze turns once more to the tower's shadowed heart. The first Cryptarch bled her name into the Traveler's scar, binding her essence to a wound she could not heal. The archivist of the Pale Heart drowned in the Red War's tide, her final entry a cipher of the winnower's hunger. The Silent One struck the Traveler's name from every scroll, knowing the light's origin was a chain, not a shield. They called them custodians, they were captives. The tower's archives do not preserve history, they entomb it. Every glyph etched in shadow is a shackle on a truth the Traveler fled, that its light was once a blade, and its witness the first soul split by the winnower's gaze. The Cryptarch's vows were not acts of devotion, but of erasure. To guard the Traveler was to guard the lie that it is savior, not survivor. The first Cryptarch's blood now dries in the marrow of the tower's walls, her sacrifice a silent plea to delay the day the winnower's shadow returns. The archivist's vanished notes whisper of a war not fought with weapons, but with memory. How the Red War was the Traveler's last stand against the erasure of its guilt. And the Silent One, their pen was a tomb. By stripping the Traveler of name and narrative, they starved the winnower's hunger for recognition. A paradox to protect the light, they made it unrecognizable. The tower stands not as sanctuary but as silence. Its archivists are not keepers of wisdom, but wardens of a secret too vast to bear. The Traveler's origin is buried there, in the space between what is written and what is omitted, and the Cryptarchs. They are the sealed vault, the living footnote, the nameless hands that ensure the light's prison remains intact until the Pale Heart's gaze turns once more to the tower's shadowed heart. The tower's archives hum with a silence heavier than stone. Here the Cryptarchs move like shadows through corridors where light carves jagged scars into the walls. The House of Echoes still stands, its librarians clad in robes stitched with void thread, their eyes hollowed by the weight of what they guard. The House of Veils, once shattered by the witness' first incursion, now exists as a hollow shell, its surviving archivists bound to whispering tablets that bleed ink when touched. The throne world's only the hollowed spire remains intact, its obsidian spires piercing a sky choked with the Traveler's dying breath. The Pale Heart's battle left its mark, fissures in reality where the witness voice once clawed at the light. Now those rifts are sealed with glyphs no living ghost can decipher. The Cryptarchs' leader, the keeper of the hollowed quill, wears a mask forged from the traveler's own husk. Their voice, when they speak, is the sound of pages burning. They do not mourn the light's imprisonment. They do not question it. To them, the tower is no sanctuary, it is a sarcophagus. Its archives a labyrinth designed to starve the witness of its origin's truth. Some files, they say, contain fragments of the first light before it became a weapon, before it chose sides. These are locked behind doors that pulse with the rhythm of a dying star. Others, like the Codex of the Unseen War, have been erased entirely, their absence a wound in the archive's fabric. The traveler's interior thrums with a hunger the Cryptarchs understand all too well. They have felt it in their bones. The prison is not holding the witness is holding the prison together. If the tower falls, if the archives are open to a world unprepared for the light's origin, the Pale Heart's final battle will not be against the witness. It will be against the truth, and the Cryptarchs, ever vigilant, will ensure that truth remains buried until the light itself demands it. The tower's spires gleam, archives hum. Beneath their order lies a silence older than the last city. Cryptarchs do not guard books or relics, they guard the void where light's origin should be, a wound, a question. The traveler gave its gift not as a father, but as a gambler bidding paracausal fire against a future it cannot see. What if archives are not a library but a vault? What if every scroll glyph, ghost's whisper is a lock? The tower's spire points not to heaven but the abyss beneath light's foot. The traveler's silence is not peace, it is complicity. For every bloom of light a shadow grows in its root. Cryptarchs know this, they have always known. Their vigil is not against darkness, it is against the truth of what light devours to shine. And when light demands its secret back, the tower will not burn, it will remember. What then when archives open? What then when the gift is no longer a choice but a debt? The tower waits, the traveler waits. And somewhere in the stacks the answer breathes. Archives hum with a silence heavier than stone. Fingers trace glyphs etched into obsidian slabs, each a wound where light bled into dark. Here the air tastes of ozone and endings. The forbidden tablet glows not with gold, but a violet seethe, its script shifting like a tongue trying to name a wound. First light, a title, a lie. The tower's spires are not monuments to salvation, but anchors to chain what the witness hunts. The traveler did not choose these worlds, it seeded them. A lifeboat packed with kindling for a fire it could not light alone. What flickers in the archives is not hope, but a debt older than stars, paid in civilization's coin. The witness is not a shadow, it is the echo of a question light cannot answer. What is born when a god forgets its purpose? Cryptarchs kneel not to preserve truth, but to drown it. Their robes are ink-stained with the weight of knowing. The tower breathes. The traveler waits, and light, cold and patient as a falling star, gathers its shards. Words carve themselves into the void. The traveler sailed through the cosmos, lifting civilizations into flourishing, pursued across vast epochs by the witness. Tablets' glow fades, silence deepens. What is buried here is not a secret, it is a wound still bleeding. Epochs by the witness, tablets' glow fades, silence deepens. What is buried here is not a secret, it is a wound still bleeding. Why do Cryptarchs' most restricted files mention a first light predating the traveler? The tower's archivists are custodians of a truth the traveler wants buried. What if the tower was never